December 1926. A car is found abandoned near a chalk quarry in England. Inside are personal belongings. The driver is nowhere to be found. Normally, this would already be concerning, but the missing person is Agatha Christie, one of Britain's most famous mystery writers. Police searched all over the country. Thousands of people joined the hunt. Her husband becomes a suspect. And as the days pass, one question becomes harder to ignore. How does a woman this famous simply disappear? To understand what happened here, we have to go back to 1926. From the outside, Agatha Christie's life looked incredibly successful. I mean, her books were selling. Hercule Poirot was already becoming a recognizable character. And that year, she published The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, one of the novels that would help her establish herself as a major mystery writer. But privately, Agatha was going through one of the hardest periods of her life. In April, her mother died. Agatha had been really close, extremely close to her. And later on in her writing, she would describe struggling with forgetfulness and tearfulness during this difficult time and also had difficulty sleeping. But then her marriage began falling apart. Her husband, Archibald Christie, everyone knows him as Archie, he had fallen in love with another woman. Her name was Nancy Neal. In August, Archie told Agatha he wanted a divorce. Think about the timing. She's grieving her mother. She's struggling emotionally. And now her marriage is collapsing. The public saw a successful mystery writer. But behind closed doors, Agatha's life was becoming increasingly difficult. And on December 3rd, everything changed. That Friday, Agatha and Archie started to argue. Archie planned to spend the weekend away. Later that evening, Agatha left their home. Her younger daughter, Rosalind, remained with the household staff. Agatha got into her Morris Cowley and drove away. Now, she had written several letters before leaving. One was for her secretary, one was for her brother-in-law, and the other one was intended for Archie. And then Agatha Christie disappeared. The following morning, police received a report about an abandoned car in Newlands Corner in Surrey. The vehicle was just left on the road and it was partially buried in the bushes. Police connected that car immediately to Agatha. I mean, her belongings were inside, but Agatha was nowhere to be found. This, of course, gets discovered by the newspaper and is widely covered in the media. The disappearance of an ordinary person may have remained a local investigation, but this was Agatha Christie. The woman that was famous for creating mysteries had suddenly become the center of her own mystery. The story exploded. More than 1,000 police officers and thousands of volunteers reportedly became involved in this search. Aircraft were scanning the countryside, search dogs were being used. They even offered a reward. Even Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes, became involved. Conan Doyle had become deeply interested in spiritualism, so he reportedly gave one of Agatha's gloves to a medium, hoping that it could help locate her. Everyone had a theory, but nobody had Agatha. And as the days passed, attention began to turn towards her husband, Archie. Police knew the marriage was in trouble. They knew Archie wanted a divorce, and they knew about Nancy Neal. Now, Archie was never charged with harming Agatha, but you can understand why people became suspicious. A missing wife, a husband who wanted out of the marriage, and another woman. Once the public formed that theory, almost everything that Archie did could be viewed through it. But investigators still had a bigger problem. They couldn't find Agatha. Then they learned about a letter. Agatha's brother-in-law had received one suggesting that she had gone to Yorkshire for rest. Yorkshire. Now, police had a possible direction, but Agatha was still missing. And while thousands of people were searching for her, nearly 200 miles away, a woman was living quietly in this hotel. The Swan Hydropathic Hotel in Harrogate was a fashionable spa hotel. Apparently, Agatha arrived there by train. She checked in, she ate meals, She read newspapers, she attended dances, and joined other guests for entertainment. Nothing about her behavior immediately caused alarm. And remember, newspapers across Britain were carrying photographs of the missing Agatha Christie. The entire country was looking for her. Yet somehow, most people inside this hotel didn't realize that the woman that was staying among them was her, until a musician named Bob Tappan became suspicious. He thought one of the guests looked familiar, so he contacted police. And on December 14th, after 11 days of searching, investigators finally found Agatha Christie. She was alive. She had been staying at the hotel. But then the police learned the name that she used to check in: Miss Theresa Neal. Neal, the same surname as Nancy Neal, the woman Agatha's husband had fallen in love with. Now, this changed everything. The entire mystery changed. Archie traveled to Harrogate. The public explanation was that Agatha had suffered memory loss. Two doctors reportedly supported that view, that her loss of memory was genuine. And when you look at what happened to Agatha, what she was experiencing, the idea wasn't impossible. I mean, her mother died, her marriage was collapsing. She had described insomnia and forgetfulness and emotional distress. Some biographers have suggested that Agatha may have experienced a psychological condition that can involve unexpected travel and disruption to a person's memory or identity. But people kept coming back to one detail: Neal. Why use the surname of her husband's mistress? Some people believe the disappearance was deliberate. Maybe Agatha wanted to embarrass Archie. Maybe she wanted to disrupt his relationship with Nancy. There were even theories that the abandoned car was meant to make Archie look suspicious. But there's no proven evidence that Agatha was trying to frame her husband for murder. And there's another possibility. Maybe the answer isn't completely one or the other. Agatha could have been in a serious psychological distress while making some of these decisions consciously. Human behavior doesn't always fit into a clean explanation. And Agatha herself never gave the public one. Agatha and her husband Archie divorced in 1928. Archie married Nancy Neal. Agatha continued writing and eventually became one of the most successful authors in history. But she mostly avoided discussing those 11 missing days. Even in her autobiography, the disappearance itself was barely even mentioned. And I find that really, really interesting. Agatha Christie spent her career creating mysteries where every clue eventually led somewhere. Detectives, they would gather the facts. The contradictions would make sense. And eventually the truth would come out. But in her own life, Agatha left one mystery unresolved.